That's what I want from my government. It's a government that feels like a family, you know? It's like work. Guys, we need to give people more money. Brave take, Zach. Thank you. Thank you for coming out and saying it. I just hate that this guy talks in like so many fucking lefty buzzwords. Anytime I'm hearing solidarity too much, it makes me want to fucking do something. What's all this making women's tits bigger with your brain? It says in the article that you referred to a study to back this up. So, guys, I'm sure we're all aware. I'm sure we all know of a little podcast called Pod Save America. Sure we've all heard of this, right? It's run by these, like, you know, like, policy, like, they're like ex-Obama staffers, like Obama campaign staffers. And they're like the most, like, Ezra Klein type, you know, progressive lib retard. Like, they're like, you know, so just, I find them very fucking unlikable. I find them very, very fucking unlikable. But they've got, I don't know if it's under the same company or what. I feel like it must be. There's Pod Save the UK, which is, I guess a UK version. Now this episode has Zack Polanski, the current Green Party leader, who we've covered a little bit here and there. And my understanding is, on this episode, they grill him a little bit. Or, well, I don't know if they grill him. I think they just, like, let him say whatever he wants because they're fucking losers. But they talk to him about the hypnotherapy. His talent, his, you know, special power of being able to hypnotize women into making their tits bigger. So I want to see what his explanation is here and see if it's any good.
Next week as well.
How have the first weeks been?
And they've been amazing. I caveat that straight away with the world is in turmoil.
Yeah.
And it just feels pretty grim at the moment.
Yeah.
But actually people say to me constantly, it must really get you down kind of the state of the world. And I felt this even before I was leader, that if you're an activist in a party or someone who's going out door knocking, there's like a real empowerment to this is all going on, but actually I'm doing something about it. Like every single day, every single moment, there is something I'm working towards. I'm thinking while we record this, we might be about to hit 80,000 members, which is pretty huge for the Green Party. That's over, I think, 10,000 in the last couple of weeks since I won. And those people are turning up.
Being a boob hypnotist should discount you from being a politician. Well, it's okay because he's sort of self-excluded from being a politician by becoming a leader of the Green Party. So,
to local party meetings and they're saying, we are ready to take on this Labour government and take the fight to reform.
The photo of your winning moment, which I'll describe briefly for listeners of the podcast, Ellie Chowns looking so delighted for you and you sort of looking so delighted by her. We obviously had both of you in the studio for, you know, a sturdy and robust debate. But there was never a sense that the leadership contest might create actual damage within the party.
No.
Yeah, and it felt like whichever one of you won, the other one would immediately just be signed up for doing whatever they could to get them elected, basically.
We are very nice in the Green Party.
Yeah.
Like, we take the work seriously, but also there's genuine camaraderie. I remember we were on a TV program when me and Ellie were about to go on, and the producer said, okay, you're going to make your point, then you argue your point. And Ellie was just like, we're not going to argue. We really like each other. And the producers just looked really, really kind of sad about it.
I mean, it has been, this is just an aside, but... Just...
Wow. It's like a family, the Green Party, guys. Like, that's what I want from my political party. That's what I want from my government. It's a government that feels like a family, you know? It's like work. You know, when your boss is like, come in to tell you, oh, this place is like a family, you know, right before they're about to take away, like, free meals or whatever they're taking away from you at work.
Just watching you be in the press recently has been really exciting. You know, they always say in broadcast, you know, if you're having fun, the audience is having fun. Obviously, fun is not the right word to be using when we're talking about such serious issues, but maybe energized is the right word. You know, you seem really energized. Clearly, the membership is energized.
The pay cut.
Are you
right for announcing layoffs.
Positive?
Hugely positive. I think fun probably is the right word. I don't think it's only the word. If I was just having fun, then I'm probably in the wrong job. Like, there's a lot of serious work to do. But as soon as I won, the first place I went to was a migrants union, United Voices of the World. And I just had this moment where I was like, wow, there's this platform now to be able to highlight people who really need to be highlighted, that issues really need to be highlighted. We were at the Trump rally the other night. Again, not fun in terms of, ha, this is great, but kind of going, actually, there's an energy in this country that is so rarely represented, other than on shows like yours. But in most mainstream media, you just don't really hear from these voices or these stories. Someone did a Google trend, and apparently I've had a third of the coverage of the Prime Minister. I don't know what I've had compared to Nigel.
Wait, Drake lost his court case. Kendrick Lamar won. UMG or UMG won. Drake's lawsuit against UMG over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us has been dismissed. This court concludes that the allegedly defamatory statements in Not Like Us a non-actionable opinion. The motion to dismiss is granted. You can call people pedophiles in rap songs. US courts have decided you can essentially baselessly smear people as pedophiles.
Farage, I'd probably say it's like minuscule.
Huge win for free speech.
But actually, there's that real sense of, if you're having fun, if you've got things to say, then people will cover you. And I don't think it needs to be in an Ed Davey kind of banging drums on a waterboard, whatever he's been up to today kind of thing. And I don't mean that to diss it, but I just think if you don't have something to say that's important and new, you have to kind of do those things. But the Green Party have got really important things to say.
Okay, so we're a decent amount of time, probably 4 years away from the next election. Given the approval ratings of the government, they will probably take this parliament long. So you've got 4 years to build a manifesto and a coherent vision for the country. So let's talk about some specifics. What should the UK's immigration system look like?
It should look fair, and it should be managed in a way that is treating people equally. So if we start with the small boats, now I'm starting there, but it's important to say small boats are 5% of migration, but they get talked about 95% of the time. I also want to stop the small boats. I don't want to, in terms of legal migration, we've obviously got Farage's. I almost don't want to repeat the frame too much, but the outrageous things that he's been saying this week, which are just vile. I've spoken to so many people this week who are feeling worried and scared about even the possibility of this is now a public conversation. And again, to see Starmer, we saw this with the Island of Strangers speech, and we see it with the fact that he'll criticise it as not effective enough or not workable enough, as opposed to what we should be saying. This is inhumane, this is immoral, and this actually isn't British. I think we need to reclaim.
Well, that's what he is saying now, you fucking retard. So I bet you feel fucking stupid now, don't you? You posting this 2 weeks ago. Within like a week, Starmer's saying all that shit anyway. Bet you feel like a fucking idiot now. You really outflanked him on that one, Zach. Really outflanked him on that one by a whole week.
And actually say, pride in this country is being proud of your community centre, the people who are in your area who don't look or sound like you. Pride or patriotism in this country is recognising...
The set is demonic. This is a sin. This is a set design sin. Acupanels, these are called. They will show up if you search wood wall panels on Google, on Amazon. These are the first thing that you'll get recommended. Absolute set design sin. Very tacky, very IKEA. Everyone has them. You look like a fucking retard.
Can build a better country by recognising we're so much better by standing together than this device.
They offer acoustic treatment as well, but you should be able to do that without them. I can't imagine the acoustics are that bad in this fucking room. I'm sorry, they've got like sofas and everything.
Final thing I'd say though is I've just said all of this, and I can say it till I'm blue in the face. We need more powerful stories, because actually I think if people don't feel that the statistics are true, even if they are true, they just kind of go, that just sounds politician-y speak. And I think we've got to find ways of telling powerful stories that really connect with people. And one example of that was I was in Clacton the other day. I met a guy called Paul on the street who said to me that too much migration. And then he said, I'm Irish. I don't hate migrants. I come from a migrant family. But look at my community. This is his words, not mine. It's a shithole. And then you're telling me more people need to come over. So I've invited him onto my podcast. So I'm not promoting a podcast on another podcast, but Bold Politics.
The only good use of a custom neon sign is Mr. Girls. The Mr. Girl hotline sign in just like a black room with his lighting as well. That went hard with the TV. That was a good use of a neon sign and set design. But broadly, I agree. And the other thing that's terrible as well, I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Where's Parallax? This is something that a lot of wannabe streamers used to get. Yeah. Look, here he is. He has this as like a sign on his back wall. This is too old. He doesn't have it here. But he has like this design, this logo that got made. I think he has a later version of it. A logo like this as like a sign on his wall. These logos are like, it's almost like AI before AI. It's like the shittiest wannabe graphic designers on Twitter and YouTube make you a logo exactly like this, you know? Yeah, like the 2000s esports style logo. It's so crazy as well, man. Like, so many streamers like this who just never got anywhere but have like these insane setups. Like, why have you got a stream deck? You've got some fucking fancy looking mixer here. What is this? Like a special streaming webcam or something with an inbuilt ring light, I think. Just baffling. I think you've got like a vertical monitor for your chat. Crazy stuff.
I'll make sure in the next one to shout out Pod crossover. But I invited him onto the podcast because actually I think that kind of conversation and that kind of story is really important for people to hear. That very often people are not coming from a I hate migrants point of view. They're coming from a look at my community, I'm scared, it's not had investment and that needs to change. And I think when we have the conversations about taxing multimillionaires and
$70 Razer camera, yeah, so it's like streamer gear. It's like gamer streamer gear. Rough, very rough, very rough. The only thing I have approaching that is it's the Elgato mic stand. Actually, because it's the only mic stand with this silhouette, sort of like, you know, shape I could find.
Billionaires and redistributing that power and that wealth. That's, I think, how we rebuild communities, and that's how we need to deal with the immigration discussion.
That feeds pretty organically into a conversation about the economy. When Tom McTague was on this show, the New Statesman editor, he talked about his concern that Starmer believed that there was no problem with the actual infrastructure of the British state and the British economy. It had just been poorly managed. Now, that is something that for a lot of us who've grown up, particularly in the aftermath of the financial crisis, seems completely counterintuitive to our experience. So what is
that? Starmer doesn't have any issue with that. Why is he went renewal so much, and why is he saying that all of it needs to be totally rewired?
Managed. Now, that is something that for a lot of us who've grown up, particularly in the aftermath of the financial crisis, seems completely counterintuitive to our experience. So what is the Green Party under Zack Polanski's vision for how we redraw the economy?
Is it this guy's a comedian? He's a comedian.
This country.
Well, the first thing is we need to have a conversation about privatization. The water companies are the most obvious ones here, where it's often talked about like taking water into public hands would be an experiment. It's completely the other way around. Privatization was the experiment, and privatization has utterly failed. Whether we're talking about the movement of council homes to private landlords, and whether we're talking about water companies who took that those water infrastructure with £0 debt and now have billions and billions of pounds of debt. They're pumping sewage into the water and charging us extra for the privilege. And the reason why I start there is because every time anyone hears from me, particularly from the first time, the first thing I want them to know about me is I want to lower their bills. I think above everything else, we need to recognize people in this country are tired and exhausted. Their wages are not going up, but the bills are going up. And so we need to lower the bills and raise wages. And one of the number ways we could do this is
guys, we need to give people more money. Brave take, Zach. Thank you. Thank you for coming out and saying it.
Exploitation of every single person in this country who uses a water company that
I'm glad someone can finally say it.
And we're paying the consequences for that. So I think the first thing is about having a big national conversation about public ownership. Nothing we need and need to use should be in private hands. All of those things, all of our utilities should be nationalised. And then I think the next thing is about a fair taxation system. I've already talked about a wealth tax on assets. People will often say, won't the wealthy just leave?
He always says nothing. He always says nothing. And they want to abolish landlords. They want to fucking abolish landlords as well. They just released some fucking stupid proposal. Fucking Chud was covering it on Kick earlier. It's like, I don't remember how it goes now. But basically, it's giving councils first right of refusal on any house sale or some shit. So the council can just buy your house if you're selling it at a market rate. It just sounds like a totally insane, expensive policy.
It's on assets. So that means, the Duke of Westminster owns half of Mayfair. He can't just pick up and take Mayfair. He might be a very strong man, but he'll struggle to do that.
He's not playing a game of Monopoly.
Right, exactly.
Even in Monopoly, you can't do that without getting a pair of scissors and cutting the Mayfair square off the board.
There's a video in that. I like it. So when I'm talking about taxing the super rich, I'm not talking about your hairdresser, your plumber, someone running a small business, someone who's running a corner shop. I don't know who. It's not about taxing people's ambition. It's talking about people who, when they go to sleep at night, earn more money than any of us could possibly earn, or make more money than any of us could possibly earn in a lifetime. And that's the point. They're not earning it, they're making it. It's on their assets, and it's obscene. And so a fair taxation
also just means that the local council becomes the landlord. Yeah, but it's not really a landlord, is it? I understand what you're saying, but the point is they're obviously like lefties. They want to decommodify housing. They want to decommodify any necessities. So by placing it into the hands of the state instead of the private market, they get there.
system to redress that, I think, is really, really important. And then finally, this is a bit more geeky, but I'll do it quickly, bringing capital gains tax in line with income tax.
Yes, I feel like we're doing a sort of whistle-stop tour through a potential Green Party manifesto.
I love it.
But let's talk about foreign policy briefly now. Obviously, over the weekend, the UK, along with a wave of states, formally declared recognition of Palestinian statehood. It's a long overdue move. It sparked fury from Israel.
I don't know if you guys have ever spent any time in, like, the new build estate type places, but it's so funny how they build the social housing. It's like they have all of those, like, you know, the Family Fridays houses everywhere, like a whole labyrinth of them. And then right at the back of the fucking estate is like some extra big little block of flats. There's just got like a bunch of fucking units in it. It's like in the shittiest part of the estate. With like or just like a bunch of fucking units stuck together. It's fucking awesome. And like everyone that lives in there is always just like the roughest, like fucking loser degenerates in the whole fucking place. It's like you walk around and you can tell exactly who's in the social housing place. It's like, you know, it's your family. It's your family. Where's the video? You know, it's like this for most of it. You know, but these guys. It's like this for most of the estate, and then right at the back it's like a bunch of, you know, fucking middle-aged benefit claimants with like 3 teeth.
It sparked criticism from people within the United Kingdom who've said that it's not going far enough and is too little too late. What would the Greens' position be moving forward in how the UK navigates its relationship with the Israeli government and a potential Palestinian state that's just been recognised?
Yeah, it's right to recognise Palestine, and I'm pleased the government's done it. But at the same time, they're still arming Israel. They're still sharing intelligence with Israel, and Israel are committing a genocide. So there's no kind of strong enough words of condemnation for the cynicism of saying, we recognise your state, we're just arming the country, though, that is potentially trying to kill every single person who exists there. And it doesn't get much darker than that. I'm also aware, I just want to spend a moment to talk about the flotilla that is going to Gaza as we speak. This is a group of peace activists who are carrying aid, who are trying to breach to get the aid into Gaza. Now, it's important to say it's symbolic. There's not enough aid there to be able to do enough. But I think we all have a responsibility in public life to talk about this flotilla as much as possible because the people on that need to be kept safe. And the only way they can be kept safe is for the world's eyes to be on that flotilla. More widely to your question, we need to end the occupation, and we need to make sure that we're finding a way forward that involves both Israelis and Palestinians at that table. I don't think that's for the British government to decide. I think we've already interfered enough in terms of the Balfour Declaration and the mess that we've created. But I do think there's a role for third countries. I suppose the final thing I'd say is I'm one of 5 Jewish people who have been in leadership positions in British political history in the last 100 years.
Wow, that's brave.
So I feel the responsibility towards what is rising anti-Semitism in our country and the rising Islamophobia in our country. These are 2 sides of the same coin. And when they come for one community, they come for all of us. And so some of my favorite work that I've done and I see happening around the country is interfaith work, where our communities stand together, because I think the only authentic response to all of this is solidarity between those communities.
So we've got to talk about Corbyn and Zara Sultana's.
I just hate that this guy talks in like so many fucking lefty buzzwords. Anytime I'm hearing solidarity too much, it makes me want to fucking do something to myself, you know? Drives me fucking crazy.
Party, it's imploded.
Your tone of voice made me think you're going to talk about hypnotherapy, by the way. We've got to talk about hypnotherapy, so much rather talk about Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana. We could talk about that too, but I was just like, oh, okay, here we go. Okay,
oh, you mean because of these headlines that previously in the past you were a hypnotherapist?
Yeah, I mean, one story from 12 years ago, but yeah.
What is this about? Just for our listeners,
what's this about? What's this about, Zach? What's all this you can make women's tits bigger with your mind business about, Zach? What's all this making women's tits bigger with your brain, Zach? What's all this about? Doesn't that kind of make you seem like a dishonest, like, grifter who was, like, willing to lie for attention and money back then, and you may be doing the same now?
Recirculating in the political press.
I've dug a hole for myself here, haven't I? Once I won the Green Party leadership, apparently the Labour Party took less than a minute to tweet out this story again. Okay. And what's really noticeable about that is they congratulated Kemi Badenoch. When Nigel Farage won, Keir Starmer crossed the chamber to go reach him. But when I won, they went on an all-out attack. And obviously I didn't know this, the BBC told me live. They said, did you know the Labour Party have just... I'm so pleased. My response was, they said, how do you feel? I went, I'm absolutely delighted. The Labour government, that's scared that they've gone on the attack within 30 seconds. It's very easy to explain. So 12, 13 years.
It's just like the easiest attack in the world. It's like everyone thinks you look retarded.
Years ago, some journalist said to me, would you do an article about body image? Okay. And I was working with, in drama schools, particularly, you guys will have been around drama schools, with young women who are facing the mirror kind of constantly, particularly ballet dancers who... were suffering from all sorts of things, anorexia, bulimia, eating disorders, but generally confidence. And so I was doing a lot of work around body confidence. And the Sun said, would you do an article about this? I said, sure. They said...
that was your first mistake?
Yeah, well, totally. Someone said to me the other day, it's a quote, if someone says they work for the Sun and they're a journalist, both of those things can't be true. I was like, great. Anyway, they then suggested
you should have known that in fucking 2010, to be honest, mate. What, you only just found out the Sun's a total rag? I understand you changed your name back to Polanski, but you were born here. I believe so were your parents.
Said, that sounds absolutely absurd. I'm not going to do that. And they said, would you do it as an experiment? And I said, as long as you make it really clear, not something I do, not something I charge for, and this is just because you've asked me to. They then wrote, actually, what was a really lovely article that tells me that I can do these things, which I was quite surprised about, and that I charged £220 to do it. And I went out on BBC Radio the next day, so not 12 years later when I became a politician, but literally the next day to go, this article doesn't represent me. And by the way, to all the men in my email box, this doesn't work on other body parts either. And although I'm joking about it, I'd say two things. You know, Tony Benn, one of my favourite politicians, said,
I mean, Zack Polanski, hypnotherapist. What did he actually say to the Sun? Because they had quotes from him. I understand if they like span it a different way and he felt like it went too far, but I feel like he did give quotes, no?
Said, I don't care where you came from, I care where you're going. And what I'd say is to people, you know, I can understand why this is an odd story if it's the first time someone's met me. But look at the history and record I've got in the last few years as deputy leader, for standing up for marginalised people, for speaking out against violence on women and girls, the work I continue to do on body image and challenging the media and the advertising industry for the awful kind of images that they're projecting every single day. And I'd say the second thing is I didn't at 16, 17 decide to be a politician. And I meet so many politicians who have been doing it their entire life, who don't believe in anything. It was always about getting to the role. And actually, this one story is embarrassing. And by the way,
this is an extremely new approach. I can see it becoming popular very quickly because it's so safe and a lot cheaper than a boob job. So, I mean, my only thing there is that quote could be out of context, right? It could be that that's a quote more about body image and it's being spun to sound like he's saying that he can make tits grow. That it's like the hypnotherapy actually is meant to help with self-perception, not the actual size of your tits, you know, and that's being span in some way. I could maybe see that.
got lots more embarrassing stuff. The Sun got in touch with me 2 days ago. I can't believe I'm telling this story to you. You guys are very good. They got in touch with me. I was in a play in 2012 with Michael Parr, who's an actor from Emmerdale. He played Ross Barton, or plays Ross Barton. And the Sun got in touch with the Green Party press office to say, by the way, we've got a picture of Zack Polanski in a play shirtless, stimulating oral sex on Michael Parr. And we're going to print it. So I got in touch with Michael and said, what should we do about this? He said, I've already replied. It wasn't stimulated.
Well done, Michael.
And they've not run the story yet. But anyway, I'm sure that's one's coming out in the next few days. But, you know, I was getting paid as an actor. People have jobs when they're not politicians, and I don't regret a second.
Yeah. But anyway, what I did want to talk to you about, but I'm really glad we made this diversion.
That was all a ruse to not talk about Jeremy Corbyn as oral. I was like, throw the boobs on the table.
Exactly. I'm sure you've been following what's been going on with your party. I don't know what will happen now with the party. It all remains to be seen. It has obviously been a little bit of an embarrassment. I think that's fair to say. Almost 1,400 people signed up to the Greens in the.
So I'm just trying to find, like, he's saying he apologized for it back at the time. Have we got that appearance where that happened? Yeah, look, says Zack. In theory, it could work on other areas of the body too. There's no reason why it can't help nails grow longer and stronger, for instance. There is already proof that hypnotherapy has helped a number of alopecia sufferers with hair growth. Okay, I'm with him so far, but I still don't understand how physical change occurs. The unconscious mind controls our bodily functions, says Zack. So we're speaking to the part of the brain that controls the rate of growth hormones. Zack refers to a study at the University of Manchester where they split people into two groups. One had to exercise to promote muscle growth. The other had to visualize muscle growth. They found that, like, it sounds like he is just claiming this. Yeah, they said it emailed about promoting tissue growth as well. Yeah, like, he's just, like, lying. Like, I understand if you apologize for it at the time. But you are lying about what this was about. I wish I could find the original BBC appearance from BBC radio appearance when he apologized back in the day. But I don't know if we'll be able to. It's probably, like, totally lost. But yeah, he's, like, misportrayed this completely. Let's run this back. Let's hear what he said about it again.
Sorry, yeah. But anyway, I'm sure that's one's coming out in the next few days. But yeah, to meet so many politicians who have been for the good I've got in the last few years, or came from, I care where you're going. To work on other body parts. Someone said to me the other day, who to explain. So 12, 13 years ago, a Sun journalist said to me, would you do an article about body image? Okay. And I was working with, in drama schools, particularly, you guys will have been around drama schools, with young women who are facing the mirror kind of constantly, particularly ballet dancers who were suffering from all sorts of things, anorexia, bulimia, eating disorders, but generally confidence. And so I was doing a lot of work around body confidence. And the Sun said, would you do an article about this? I said, sure. They said... that
was your first mistake?
Yeah, well, totally. Someone said to me the other day, it's a quote, if someone says they work for the Sun and they're a journalist, both of those things can't be true. I was like, great. Anyway, they then suggested this, and I said, that sounds absolutely absurd. I'm not going to do that. And they said, would you do it as an experiment? And I said, as long as you make it really clear, not something I do, not something I charge for, and this is just because you've asked me to. They then wrote, actually, what was a really lovely article that tells me that I can do these things, which I was quite surprised about. And then
Well, it says in the article that you referred to a study to back this up. I want to... Surely... Look, dude, like, wait. Surely the Sun can cross-reference this. I need Sun journalists to prove themselves right. Look at this at the bottom of the fucking page. How it works. Zack Polanski says, the brain is the most complicated computer we know of. Our unconscious knows how to run our bodies better than we do. Essentially, I'm looking to utilize the unconscious process to make changes to the body. We don't exactly know what is changing because of the complexities of the unconscious. We do know whatever is changing is ecological. So if it's changing one thing, such as the size of a person's breasts, it's making sure that whole system is changing in order to support it. And then, like, you saying the Sun wrote this whole thing? Yeah, this does not add up. This is not adding up.
I charged £220 to do it. And I went out on BBC Radio the next day, so not 12 years later when I became a politician, but literally the next day to go, this article doesn't represent me. And by the way, to all the men in my email box, this doesn't work on other body parts either.
I need that BBC appearance.
And although I'm joking about it, I'd say two things. You know, Tony Benn, one of my favorite politicians, said, I don't care where you came from, I care where you're going. And what I'd say is to people, I can understand why this is an odd story if it's the first time someone's met me. But look at the history and record I've got in the last few years as
Yeah, can
deputy
anyone
leader,
find any references to the breast enlargement stuff on his website archives? Does anyone have that still?
for standing up for marginalised people, for speaking out against violence on women and girls, the work I continue to do on body image and challenging the media and the advertising industry for the awful kind of images that they're projecting every single day. And I'd say the second thing is I didn't at 16, 17 decide to be a politician. And I meet so many politicians who have been doing it their entire life, who don't believe in anything. It was always about getting to the role. And actually, this one story is embarrassing. And by the way, I've got lots more embarrassing stories. The Sun got in touch with me 2 days ago. I can't believe I'm telling this story to you. You guys are very good. They got in touch with me. I was in a play in 2012 with Michael Parr, who's an actor from Emmerdale. He played Ross Barton, or plays Ross Barton. And the Sun got in touch with the Green Party press office to say, by the way, we've got a picture of Zack Polanski in a play, shirtless, stimulating oral sex on Michael Parr. And we're going to print it. So I got in touch with Michael and said, what should we do about this? He said, I've already replied. It wasn't stimulated.
Well done, Michael.
And they've not run the story yet. But anyway, I'm sure that's one's coming out in the next few days. But, I was getting paid as an actor. People have jobs when they're not politicians, and I don't regret a second.
Yeah. But anyway, what I did want to talk to you about, but I'm really glad we made this dive.
Wow. Crazy stuff. Apparently he was on Question Time. No one's posted it yet. No one's posted Question Time on YouTube yet. Fuck, man. And you can't watch BBC iPlayer without an account anymore, can you? Fuck, man. God, that's so fucked up. There's an Owen Jones and Zack Polanski interview. Oh my god. Oh. I don't. I really don't get the appeal of this guy. I thought you got to be retarded. I think he's worse than Owen Jones, because Owen Jones is just a stupid fucking YouTuber. This guy's trying to be a politician. Yeah, I kind of want more Zack Polanski stuff, but I don't know. I can't see what I need to get. Owen Jones is like a Corbyn dick sucker who will have the most retarded lefty position on like literally every issue. Watch out one video I'm talking about the wealth tax. Dude, I don't know if I can do wealth tax. What's this guy's comedy like?
Love you all, right?
Oh, I bet.